You're listening to the Hidden Killers Podcast.
Hidden Killers Podcast with Tony Bruschi.
This is one of those stories where extreme beliefs mixed with mental illness really just can go completely haywire with those that follow them. It's a 23-year-old man from Farmington, Minnesota. He's been charged with 2 counts of murder after allegedly killing his pregnant sister and unborn child. Jack Joseph Ball faces these charges following a series of disturbing events that led to his arrest last Thursday. According to Dakota County Attorney Kathryn, Keena Ball was apprehended after being caught on a Ring camera dumping dismembered body parts on a neighbor's doorstep. The victim, identified as 30-year-old Bethany Israel, was approximately 18 weeks pregnant at the time of her death. Authorities detailed a chilling scene on the criminal complaint filed on Tuesday of Israel's mother calling 911 around 11 p.m. and on May 23rd, after discovering a significant amount of blood at his house. She had gone to the house to check on her daughter, who had gone there earlier for dinner with her brother. Concerned after not hearing from Israel, her mother drove to the house and reportedly saw Ball leaving the premises before finding the blood inside. Can you imagine that? Showing up like just to check on your kids and like, oh my God.
No, I can't. And it makes me think that she might have suspected her son was having some issues because, you know, if you were going to somebody's house for dinner, I wouldn't even expect to, wouldn't plan on hearing from you. Or,
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people go to people's houses for dinner all the time. Now, maybe there was a reason and she's like, hey, you okay? You know, wanted to touch base about something.
Yeah.
So maybe that instigated her going by. But, you know, if your daughter goes to her brother's house for dinner, I wouldn't think anything about it.
No, it wouldn't kind of cross your mind, I think, in most
Makes
cases.
me wonder. She must have, there had to have been a reason, like, hey, pick up something on the way home. Or I don't know if she lived with her or what, but that's just, I can't imagine.
Yeah. No, yeah. Upon arrival, officers found a large pool of blood on the kitchen floor, along with a bloody saw, hatchet, and several knives. Additionally, they discovered dismembered body parts scattered throughout the home and another bloody knife in the living room. Further investigation uncovered several journals belonging to Ball. In these journals, Ball expressed anger towards his sister for being pregnant, stating that she was no longer innocent. The search for Ball ended when a Rosemont resident reported seeing a man on their Ring camera placing what appeared to be a body part on their front step. Police located Ball in the backyard of a nearby residence, covered in blood with a self-inflicted knife wound across his throat. He was immediately taken to Regions Hospital, where he remains hospitalized. The allegations in this case are deeply disturbing and horrific. Words can't describe what our law enforcement partners encountered during the investigation, said Attorney Keena. My office will work hard to ensure the victims receive justice and will provide the necessary support for the victim's family. The Hennepin County Medical Examiner's Office determined that Israel's cause of death was complex homicidal violence, and her death was ruled a homicide. Ball's bail has been set at $2 million without conditions and $1 million with conditions. His next court appearance is scheduled for June 10th. Why have any bail at all, I guess, is the question.
And what about this poor person who sees on the Ring video this, like, it doesn't sound like they were connected necessarily.
Yeah.
I think they would have stated if there was a connection.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine. And like, this has to have been someone, I don't know if there was some weird religious belief, but there's definitely a mental illness component to this. Because he didn't just kill his sister.
No.
This had to have gone on for hours.
I'd love to know more of what's in the journal other than just saying that she was no longer pure. I'm imagining there's a lot more of his fucked up beliefs in there. And I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear where they came from. That would be my question.
Well, maybe that's why the mom actually was following up, because she knows that son has mental health problems.
Yeah.
And just went, but man, even then, I would never go to, he could have killed someone.
I'd love to know more.
I don't know.
I want to know where the beliefs came from. That's what I'm curious about.
My guess is he'll plead guilty, but I wonder if there will be a trial here. Because how do you not plead guilty to this? I mean,
yeah.
Like, look.
There ain't no defense attorney that's going to take this one up.
Wow.
That's going to try and argue for his defense on this.
And here she's just 30 years old and pregnant, probably extremely happy about it.
Yep.
And then he's got this twisted belief in his head that she's no longer pure.
Yeah.
And because she's
I'd also like to know. Yeah, I'd also like to know.
I don't even have words.
If there have been any other mental health issues here in the past with him, and what kind of help he was able to receive, and just kind of where that all went. Because we're in a country here where, if they want to be out, they can be out if they are viewed as not as a threat to anyone. So I'm curious as to how much the family's dealt with any sort of mental health issues with this guy in the past. And if he did present to be a danger in some way, shape, or form in the past, but yet they had nothing that they could do to, to keep him away other than try to be the family that checks on him and takes care of him. I don't know. I'm completely speculating here. This guy may have zero history of anything.
Right.
But
and the mom might have presented as a totally normal person.
Or the signs were missed or ignored or they, sometimes people just don't know what to look for. And it's like, oh, they're just quirky things. It's like, no, there's something wrong going on here.
But the fact that the mom went over to check, that makes me think that she might have suspected something.
Yeah. I think the mom knew something was up.
She probably couldn't get a hold of either of them.
Yeah. But I'm sure that's the last thing
Oh, my God, that poor mother. I can't imagine.
No.
Can't imagine what she's going through.
So that's another horror story right there.
Want to listen ad-free? Want advanced access to all of our interviews before anyone else?
Become a True Crime Today Premium Plus subscriber on Apple Podcasts.
You get every episode commercial-free.
So you can binge on true crime
until you can binge no more.
Search True Crime Today Premium Plus on Apple Podcasts now, or go to our podcast page and sign up now.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast next.